on the T side with Anonymous on the CT side. So, yeah, let's get right into it and see if we can get a victory here for Sprout in the pistol round.
Let's hope so. They did win one pistol last time out against Anonymous, so hopefully they can continue that here into their pick. They're already exploding up top mid early, and Anonymous don't have the setup to stop this from happening.
They really don't. Oh, Kyla, that's a nice shot taking down Cressy, but he's getting flanked and he still picks up the kill on Faven. That is really, really a good job. It looked like he was going to be done for after that one and get traded right away, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So now we're back into a little bit of a fight going on over at CT, Spawn, and Speedy takes. Now, the fight is happening all over the map. There's just no rhyme or reason any longer, but it ends up in a 3-on-3 after the chaos has slowed down for a second.
Sprout just holding the ground that they've gained towards long, towards CT Spawn. They've cut Anonymous down the middle right now, cut them down the center. That means that Anonymous are going to have one player at least excluded from the fights towards the site, but Innocent gets the kill onto CT Spawn. That leaves Sprout a man down and with fewer options.
Oh, Snax having himself a bit of an aim battle, but the USP is so powerful. And he'll take down Slacks. Speedy sneaking up close. He's got 35 seconds to try and find the kill in pit, get the bomb planted, and then win the following 1 versus 2. And the fact that he's already got shot in the side of the face is really not looking good at the moment here. Nice attempt from Speedy, but ultimately he's going to get taken down. So it will be the round for Anonymous.
Yeah, they come back into it. Once they lost long, I was slightly concerned. I thought Sprout might have some options available to them, but having that Glock for the fight towards CT and B on that long-range angle was not really a fight that they were ever going to be that good on winning. And now without a bomb plant, Sprout do have a decision to make. It looks like that decision is just to go ahead and save, so no force buy shenanigans this time round.
No, nothing really crazy. Some nades landing at the bottom of Banana to take down Dennis, but they don't have a lot to lose here. I mean, they're not going to care that much if they can get any kills at all. I feel like that would be a bit of a victory in a sense, but otherwise, yeah, they're just hanging out in this round for a minute here, Sprout and Anonymous. They got a lot of utility and a lot of SMGs here as well to try and clean up when the time comes. They're going to be doing a fine job at that. A little bit of a dink on Minio. That could be maybe a little bit rough if he went down as well. Unnecessary, you could even say. No, Presley's going to go down. There's a chance. There's a nice attempt. That's fine.
Eventually they get him. And now Sprout get their chance to show us what they can do with these AKs. They will have good utility too. They didn't invest much into that previous round, so they have enough money to get a solid amount of nades together. Same can be said for Anonymous though. Even if they don't have the ideal weapons on the CT side, they've got a lot of utility to work with, so we'll get to see if those early nades on Banana come through.
Always a big difference maker if you can land some of those early on. You're absolutely right. Definitely have. And especially in a round like this where you have, you know, MP9s and FAMASas and an M4. If you can do some damage to those armored up AKs, that really evens out the battle when you get to it. So, you know, people often only really recognize the heavy nades that do the 48 damage or whatever, but landing a nade that even does, like, you know, 20 or 15 damage can still make a big difference. So don't discount those. Smoke is up. It's not quite the one with the gap in here, but Minio is still just looking at the edge, trying to get something in. And they're being pushed back really far under the map here in Anonymous. You're noticing they don't know anything about top mid. They've kind of lost Banana control. They don't have a lot of information, do they?
No, they have been forced back quite heavily. So these nades into the A site, or just a one flash into the A site, could just be a fake for information, or it could be a take. They don't really know either way right now. I think Anonymous will start to get the memo soon, though, because Sprout are all grouping up on long, ready to go around the corner.
Ooh, this is such a powerful position Sprout found themselves in. Even at 30 seconds, they can wrap this bomb site. And there's only 2 people here. And again, they don't have the best weapons at all. Snax with a very important kill, trying to help out Kyla, who's in the pit alone right now at just about 20 seconds. But Slax will show up to take him down. So even if that wrap actually got a bit delayed by the fact that Snax showed up to help out, it still did its job in terms of coming onto the bomb site. They are a little bit low on health on 2 out of 3 players there on the Sprout side. Cressy, though, very important headshot to take down Snax, and they're going to fall back. They just instantly give it up. So Sprout successful in that 3rd round.
Good wrap onto the A site. They use that long control to their advantage. They really flex into that position hard to make sure they can hit A. And once you get into that spot where you have the site in an even numbered post plant, especially when you have 3 alive, you can lock down almost all the angles that the CTs can come from. Maybe if it's a 2v2, there are some more options available for the CTs because you have to leave at least 1 or 2 spots open. But with so many players still alive in the post plant, you can have everything covered off. As soon as Sprout get that 1 kill, it confirms the round for them and a good start to their gun rounds. But now they have to go up against some rifles of Anonymous. It's still not going to be a perfect investment, though. They took that last as a bit of a bonus round. Now, in this one, they also have a couple of weak weapons in the mix, but it's just the 2 FAMASs. It's not a big deal.
No, probably something they could overcome with, you know, again, just the right amount of fundamentals. Something that we talked about in the first match from FPX. Just the ability to, you know, flash yourself into a good fight or get a teammate to set it up. Ouch. Wow, yeah. That first grenade was already painful. The second one, isn't it just the life, though, of being the entry on Banana? You're like, oh, yeah, half the rounds, I'm probably going to start this way, and there's nothing to do about it.
Yeah, the nade damage stats on Inferno are crazy compared to the other maps. It almost makes it so that the nade damage stats overall are kind of hard to read because the teams that play Inferno more oftentimes just have way more utility damage. Yeah,
that's an interesting math problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looked like he had a chance maybe, but he fell just off. Now he's getting boosted back into this position, and easy kill, even with the FAMAS to take down Faven. So pretty good start here. 4 versus 5. The bomb is going to be planted, but Dennis and Speedy are both low on health. So even though retaking B can be real tricky, I still think they have a lot of utility, an enormous amount of Molotovs as well.
That CT smoke just got replenished, though, so they're going to have to rely on flashes probably to go through that, and they only have 2 flashes to work with, so those are going to have to be on point.
Yeah, but look at how they're just carpeting the entire yellow area, and the Molotovs are everywhere. 2 kills for Innocent. Absolute barbecue coming into the B bomb site, and Innocent will spin around and find a 3rd kill. They have a kit, they're already on the bomb, and that is just an amazing retake. Put that in a textbook somewhere. That looked so cool.
Yeah, having the Ruins control was a really big deal for them there, because if you don't have that, then you molly the players out, but you probably don't get to capitalize as quickly.
True.
Because you have the players at Ruins, you just molly them out, and they don't really have anywhere to go. There were 2 players in pool there that didn't really get as influenced by that, but it still just helps so much. It's going to make it really difficult for the opponents to just lock it down. And now Anonymous back on track, and we get the first AWPs out into this round.
Exciting news. Snax versus Slacks. That could be some trouble for the casters on that front, but we'll do our best. But they are playing a bit forward over on the arch corner towards the top mid on the CT side, trying to get that information. That's a nice flash to set that up. Faven goes down, but Speedy is quick with the return and takes out Snax. So 1-for-1 trade, leaving essentially a slightly isolated 2-on-4 on the A-bomb side, but it's kind of changing, and there's enough time here for Sprout to slow it down. Something that FPX themselves did really well in the first best of 3. Just taking it cool when you're in this kind of scenario, waiting for the enemy team to make a mistake, and that's what they're doing right now.
Dennis is in such an advanced position, as is Speedy. They can just wait for fights to come their way, and now they can commit. Pretty easy kill for Kyla to get, though, and the bomb is all the way back towards bottom mid. So Key is the man who's going to have to spot this, and he has. He puts the molly down defensively. One man gets through it, but the other player has to stay behind, so that's going to buy some extra time.
What a weird round. Nice shot out of Key. I felt like he threw that Molotov a little bit too far, but he might have bought the time anyway. Kyler nearly getting the shot at the back, but they turn around and get him 25 seconds. And behind the pillar, just trying to stay alive, trying to buy the time. A little bit of a flash to set it up. And Speedy, he's going to be shot in the back by Innocent. So Key, I think, showed just everything about that round, apart from the fact that he got the triple kill. But it's the time that he bought for his team to get there to help him out. That is really well played.
Very impressive to be able to get away with that on the B site there. Knew exactly what he needed to do. Good understanding of the position he'd been left in, where the kills weren't as important as just buying time, because we know how hard those retakes can be on Inferno. So instead of just trying to frag out, you're trying to delay, make sure your teammates have a good chance to get there in time. That's exactly what ends up happening. And it's put Sprout in a position where, once again, they are on the back foot in terms of the economy game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rough beginning here for Minio. Just got, I don't know, shot multiple times through that light cover at the top of Banana. So that'll happen sometimes with the Deagles, I suppose. Key is still hanging out here, even though he doesn't really have a lot of backup. I guess Snax is on his way, but you want to be real careful, don't you? Don't want to be losing this round to just the Deagles.
Doesn't have to be as worried about utility in this round, at least. Probably knows that if Sprout have anything, they won't have too many nades. In fact, they only have one HE that they just picked up. It's Dennis, the man who got the rifle and the HE grenade into his back pocket. With banana control taken, though, Sprout decide they can afford to go back to A and keep Anonymo guessing, keep Anonymo without information. And it's that similar setup where Anonymo are playing pretty far back. Means that Sprout have the ability to take top mid.
Yeah, this kind of a really drawn back defense can definitely backfire. But I mean, they do still have the better rifles, so maybe that's what they're thinking. Kyla certainly making quick work of Cressy, and the grenade, it would be great if he could throw it up there. They don't have armor, so look at the damage on Dennis. Oh, but that was right through the box. I can't believe it. I want to see that from his point of view. What a shot with the Deagle. Kyla still doing work down here. About 9 seconds on the clock, and they're going to get the bomb plant. Faven with one more headshot. It's still a very dangerous round here for Anonymo, even if they have the better health and the better weapons. But he's at it again. Oh my god, one more headshot. Key now coming in to try and hit him. He's going to get shut down too from Slacks this time. The Deagles will do all the work in this round for Sprout.
God damn those shots. Superb stuff from Sprout. It was just the Deags all round long. They opened up the round with that kill through the wooden pallet. Then they get some absolutely absurd shots onto this A site. That one from Faven was crazy to get onto the bomb site. And then Slacks the man to close it out. Just all headshots in that end of the round there. And it puts Anonymo in a really poor position. They only have one rifle at their disposal now.
They were almost out of the reach of Sprout here. They would have had such a good economy going forward. Things would have been just a lot easier. But yeah, you're right. It puts them in this really weird position. Kyler and Cressy. Ooh, that could have been a real danger, as it still might be. Kyler knows that there was someone there that just didn't even realize. He's looking for it, angling for that kill, but he's right underneath him. And yeah, there it is. Finally rewarded, and then swiftly gone. Well. Innocent.
Ooh.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
I would have got greedy and tried to get that AK, but he didn't. He knew better.
Yeah, it's like,
gets away with his life.
Just
Absolutely.
not worth it.
I mean, he's also way better than I would be with the Deagle, so that probably makes a good difference too.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been tempted because we wouldn't have got into that position to begin with, so that's one way to avoid it. Dennis again.
Innocent has pushed again, though.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
All right. He's going to find that kill. I was about to say, the real cool thing is Dennis being this far up to the bomb site again, but they can't get the bomb here. This round is outrageous. Snax is just ready and waiting, and Dennis, he goes right down. So Anonymo just bringing this round back in a really tricky fashion. If you're Sprout, you might have been... You didn't even get to play your round here. It just got taken away from you.
Normally, it's really hard to slip through the cracks like that on Inferno too, because there's only a couple of spots. Yes. You know, there's only a couple of entrances you can push through. So pretty impressive for Innocent to find that timing window, gets in behind, and at that point, he's causing so much chaos once he gets that kill. Sprout are probably starting to panic because they don't really know how he's got there, and they don't really know what positions they have to be scared of.
Yeah, that's I think you're absolutely right, especially on Inferno. There are some other maps where you can, you can sneak in and sort of stay hidden for a long time, and maybe the enemy team will lose track of where you are, and just not so much on Inferno, but they managed to do it anyway, so more power to them. 5-2 in favor of Anonymous early on here with, again, I think a pretty decent scenario at the moment. Just the economy could be a lot better, obviously, but yeah, I mean, they're putting Sprout on a bit of a slowdown every time it looks like they're about to do something cool. So if that continues, it's going to be great news. We have a bit of a tech issue, so Hawker, we can reflect on the situation right now. Anonymous, they seem to be focused really well at the beginning. I think Sprout are looking decent too, so it could be a much better match, I think, this one and the last one.
I'm hoping so. It's looking pretty good so far for both teams. I think it has been quite an open game for Inferno, it feels like. Normally, it feels like a map where on Inferno you get a lot of structured play, and you don't get these sorts of rounds where there are flanks coming in and there's pushes coming into CT. Oftentimes, I feel like you just get regular site takes. So I kind of like that we're getting maybe a bit more of an open game, a bit more of a scrappy game between these two teams. It's been fun so far.
It is really cool. That's something that that you really enjoy, and it says a lot about the map, doesn't it? That even after all this time, like, there are still some interesting variations that people can throw in there. We did have one of the Anonymous players briefly DCing from the server, so we'll get him back online, and then we can continue the match. I don't think it'll be that tricky of a problem to solve. But yeah, there are so many different ways of doing this, and it's a really big contrast if you think about it from some of the rounds where we were. Not really criticizing, but just highlighting the fact that Anonymous were playing really defensively, like all the way back in pit and A site, for instance. And then you take it into the next round, and they're pushing up all the way into the A apps and taking fights on the balcony into second mid. Like, that's a big contrast. If you're on the receiving end of that, it could be kind of frustrating not to know, what kind of defense are we looking for here? Is it just going to be the one or the other? And it turns out it changes round to round,
Absolutely. I think maybe Anonymous were a bit more willing to make the plays there when they had a couple of the pistols out. They were trying to just see if they could get something going, find that weak spot. But, sometimes it is hard to even keep track of that economy. Sometimes you're not entirely sure if your opponents are buying. So it's definitely something Sprout are going to have to consider as this game goes on. I think for Sprout, we haven't seen too many straight-up site takes, really. And I think one of the few rounds they did go for it was that round where they wrapped in through A long, and they were quite effective there at just pushing the site quickly. So I might like to see a more direct approach from Sprout in some of these rounds going forwards, actually. I think maybe they can just go for these fast site takes as a team. I think that could be a good route for them.
And, I mean, we've had a couple of rounds now where they've managed to get all the way up onto the hay cart and just sit there on the T side. And I feel like whenever I see that, I always think whoever the in-game leader is, you'd think that they would be, you make a mental note of that. You're like, oh, we could get to the hay cart near pit on A. Like, if we can do that, then that opens a lot of options. Like, there are a lot of things we can do if we can get to that kind of a position. And there are some teams that will almost never let you do that. Like, they'll always be playing around that quad side to try and stop you from doing that, or at least have an eye on it or whatever. So, that could be the kind of thing that you get the intel early on in the half, and you don't exploit it straight away, but you just keep it in the back of your mind, and you play for it in, round 12, 13, 14. Like, you try and remember that was a possibility, and then you bring it back later. A lot of trickery like that could come into a round. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that come into it, because if you can get 3 or 4 people there, one flashbang onto the A-bomb site, and it's done. The delay is 0, right? So you just one flash and you get the right kill, and it's over. So it'll be fun to see if they could try and do something like that, Sprout. But yeah, we've got everyone back on the server, so probably just a couple of seconds, and we should be able to get the game back underway again. But yeah, I think in spite of the scoreline 5-2, it's not that bad. I feel like this is destined to be a fairly even game right now. They all look like they're pretty much awake.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's a good sign going forwards. I'm definitely looking at the economy game too, because I think Anonymous so far have been able to sort of stay on top of the economy. Obviously, in that previous round, they were starting to struggle, but now that they've won with the Deegs, they should be right back in a good position. And I think a lot of the T-side game right now, or at least nowadays, is kind of coming down to pressuring that CT economy. It feels like that's just becoming more and more important. And we know that Inferno's a map where you get saved sometimes. So you really do want to keep that CT economy low, sort of force them into those spots where they have to make those tough calls. So I think for Sprout, it is important they can keep competing and making these rounds close at least, because you would like to break that CT bank at some point. That's oftentimes a good way to get a couple more rounds under your belt.
Yeah, and I mean, on the other side of that, some of the teams that we've seen in the past that have been very good on CT sides, I mean, like something like Astralis, for instance, in their prime, you would say one of the things that made them good on the CT side is knowing when to save. And, you know, if every round you lose, you don't get wiped out, but you get to save like 3 or even 4 rifles. So it just makes it very hard to take you down. And so we'll see if Anonymous can also manage some of that if they're going to be losing more rounds here. But we're back into the game, into round number 8. So we appreciate your patience in the Twitch chat. And yeah, let's just get back into it and see if Sprout can do something. They have Deagles again, and those were dangerous last time.
Certainly something you have to watch out for. Early smoke put into top mid to try and deny. Kyler will get boosted up on top of Porch, which is a nice variation. You might see a couple of times in a half. Oftentimes not the most common setup, but the thing I like about this, especially against the Pistols, is you can just stack a couple more players into top mid, and you don't really have to use your nades as early. You can just rely on those 2 players to hold together, which they should be able to do here.
Well, Innocent doing a fine job. It's a pretty good deagle in return. That's just a Glock that's sneaking in up there, so it's not so dangerous. And it's also, I think, got tagged all the way down. So this round seems to be much better handled from Anonymous, not getting into too many weird aim duels. And I mean, so far, this should be a round that they can just lock down and do a fine job with. And for Anonymous, in terms of the economy, it would be great if they could get out with 4 people alive in this one.
You might even get to hold on to those nades, which is extra nice. Definitely makes a difference, especially the Incendiary, which is $600 a pop. There goes Minio, but Faven finds a nice trade. A bit more damage done at the end, but Kyler swings with confidence, and it ends up being 3 alive for Anonymous. Not too bad from Sprout, though. At least they get a couple of kills, which should keep that economy game in question.
Yeah, something to look forward to, certainly if you're on the Sprout side. That's what you're gunning for, you're hoping for, and it's well within reach. What, the most they have is 2,650 on Minio. So, yeah, they can reset this economy, Sprout, and they must know that as well. They got the orb back on Slacks, they got some AKs. Let's see if they can put together a round here in the 9th round.
T-side smoke put into top banana early. Using that quite often so far on the Sprout side, just to try and get that early control. And you can see here, Faven can even sit in the smoke, and you oftentimes get an edge in these fights as the smoke is fading. You're the one that's going to get the vision first. CT's still sticking around though. Snacks is seeing if he can have a little look towards Banana, but elsewhere, they've lost a man, so they could really do with Snacks landing a shot. However, he gets forced back.
Yeah, that was a wall bang, and I think Speedy was actually in the not even inside of the hallway up towards there. I think he was actually much further back. So Innocent goes down next, and now it's just a 2-for-0 trade favoring Sprout. They're loving it right now. Snacks is showing up, but even if you got a kill here, what would it matter outside of just the economic damage? Yeah, he's going to take a shot and fall back. So they win that round, Sprout, with really minimal effort. I think Speedy actually shot him through the wall up there.
Yeah, you see a lot of players just trying that wall bang. I feel like I don't oftentimes see it work, because normally it only stops you if you're pushing all the way through the apartments, if you try and go aggressive. But I guess this time round, he found the right angle. And I guess there is a discussion here for Sprout as to whether or not they want to hunt down some of these players. I think it's a bit hard, though. When there are 3 CTs alive on that B site, they can play pretty compact, and it's probably going to cost you a couple of players if you commit to it. So I think from Sprout's side, I like the decision just to keep everyone alive.
And this goes into talking about the kind of round that we were just during the tech timeout here, right? Where at least losing this round, you get to keep 3 people alive. And that does really make a big difference going down the stretch of a half like this. I mean, we're in the 10th round now, but those 3 rifles can really come back to help out Anonymous. So we'll see how big of a difference that's going to make. I mean, that was also so decisive that it wasn't probably even a question for Anonymous whether or not they wanted to go help out at the A-bomb site. It's like that question was settled as soon as that second kill came in. So it was just over. Tough times.
Yeah, pretty tough. And now Sprout are going for this early banana control. Couple of nades, that same smoke put down. Thankfully, for Anonymous' sake, there's no one here at top banana this time. But we could well see Sprout go for a more direct approach. If they're going to get banana control this easily, I think they at least want to pressure the B site and bait out some CT nades. So we'll see if that is the approach they take with so many players on banana early.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that you can do once you have this kind of a control. It's absolutely true. Oh, there's a gap there. These smokes have become so advanced. Even in the space of like a couple of months, it feels like people have just got better at, you know, almost like just pixel perfection there to make sure that they get the most out of it. There's still a Molotov left as well over on that side, so that's kind of interesting. They could do actually 2 Molotovs and a smoke as well, so they can keep this locked down for a long time. Sprout look like they're going back towards middle. I feel like if they change their minds and go back to B, that's going to be a nightmare. And this side is walking into Snacks. Sprout actually, they could be in a bit of trouble if they can't find a really strong entry here.
Yeah, time is ticking. They've got a lot of nades left, but so do Anonymous. Molly goes down and splits the push. Nade damage done on top of it. This is going to be a rough push for Sprout.
It really will be. Only 20 seconds. Kyler, he gets the one and a follow-up, and everyone is flashed, but eventually they'll get him down, and the only real benefit here was the fact that they had smoked off Snacks, and he couldn't turn around from that arch position to help out anyone inside of the bomb site, so they're still going to get the bomb plant, but that was about to get way out of control. I think if they hadn't got that first kill on Innocent quite as quickly, this would have been a nightmare, and I'm not sure they would have got the bomb down at all, but here we are. There is a Molotov on Key still on the smoke, so they could put in a little bit of pressure here towards the pit. There's going to be a smoke, the Molotov surely to follow, and Krezzy playing, actually using that smoke against them. That's very clever. Mini are going to be going down, and now it's Key and Snacks. 2 versus 3, and unlike the previous time where they called that save really quickly and got to save a bunch of rifles, this time it's just Snacks left. And Sprout, man, I think that's impressive that they win that round. That could have gone really bad. Oh, Snacks was hungry, but this time it was chicken.
At least he gets to save the AWP, but this time round for Anonymous, I think even if they saved the 3 guns, it would have been kind of hard to keep a buy going. So maybe that influenced their decision slightly. They also had a bit of utility on Snacks, so perhaps that came into play too. They thought they could use those nades to maybe help them out. But now it really is all on Snacks in this round. He's got a good spawn with the AWP, so we could well see that peek down mid to try and open things up.
I feel like that mid battle is something you just don't get to do that much anymore in Inferno on the CT side. It's really weird because in the beginning it was both sides wanted to take that AWP versus AWP battle. Now it's a lot more rare these days, but I respect the fact that he tried. You know, you almost have to when that's the only weapon. So I don't know what they do from here on out. They really, really need the early kill in this one on the Anonymous side. They need that 4 versus 5 at a minimum.
See if they can find a way to get that advantage. Key decides that is not a favorable fight for him. He's been spotted, but he swings again. Comes close to the kill, but both players only landing shots to the body. That's going to leave the B site wide open. And maybe if they had rifles, they'd be able to get those kills on a spray. With the Deeg, not the case. As soon as that inaccuracy hits, they were in trouble.
Yeah, you know, fair play. And again, as long as they can at least save the AWP, I think, you know, there's something to be recovered from the round. But Sprout are, you know, stepping back into it. And they don't look too frustrated either. I mean, a bit of a bumpy start, but ultimately they're about to be back at 6-5, which is just fine. That's something you could do a lot with. And they're keeping Anonymous really poor at the moment. So I don't know. Again, this is shaping up to be a much closer game right now. I'm kind of digging this at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a good back and forth.
It has.
Enjoyed it. I think we could hopefully get. I feel like the rounds have been like somewhat one-sided once they've been decided almost.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of clutches in there.
Yeah, we had all the clutches in the first best of 3, even though that was an even weirder game in some sense. But I'm sure that once the pressure really sort of sets in and we get towards the end of either the half or the map here, we're gonna have to see a lot more attempts like that. Man, yeah, still some. I mean, some upgraded pistols here. We got some grenades as well on the Anonymous side, but that AWP is still their best ticket to try and find an early kill. And it's not been in the right position yet. He's tried a number of times here at top mid, not really finding anything. Now they got the double setup up in the apartments, which I think is really fun. See if it's just going to be a similar story here where they just go B and win.
Snax is staying static on the A site. It looked like he might rotate over for a split second. But now Dennis is starting to sneak on through to this left-hand side. I'm not sure they know he's in that far. Eventually, Key gets the trade, but he may just have to stay alive here. These fights are hard to win. And with Spitty getting that second kill, Snax is scrambling to get back into position with that AWP, but I doubt he'll be able to do too much.
I'm shocked that he's even here. I feel like this is such an overextension. Surely, I know that they could technically buy another one in the next round, but that's not really the point, is it? You know, we're not in the 15th round here. You kind of probably should still be worried about losing it. He's shown up, but the bomb is already planted. I have no idea how they would retake this. He does have a defuse kit. Oh, an innocent. Oh, no! He just takes him right down. That is absolutely outrageous, taking him down through the windows in construction. And now it's a 2-on-3. And Snax looking to take that shot over, not finding it. And I think that might have been one of the last chances there. I think, yeah, they're just baiting him out with the gun barrel at the end there. So playing a little bit of a dangerous game. Snax is still thinking about it. And I mean, if he times it right and gets a kill and goes on the defuse, maybe at the very least he could take all of them with him. But yeah, he's now hiding back here. I think he could survive the blast, but if he takes any damage, it's not going to be so easy. There's one, and that's enough to take him down. So that's a bit of a loss, isn't it?
Yeah, they lose that AWP at the end. I guess Snax was going for it as sort of a Hail Mary, knowing that he could get the AWP in the next. But you're right, it leaves them without that extra buffer Snax might have had.
Yeah.
I'll be hoping they can just win this round here. He also doesn't get a kit now. They only have one kit on that CT side, which might be worth keeping track of. But it's finally back to the full buy for Anonymous. They've been waiting a long time for it. Let's see what the Poles can do.
4 rounds in a row for Sprout. I mean, that is a nice way to get back into the swing of things. They tie up the scoreline and everything. This is looking real interesting at the moment. And sneaking in as they're boosting up. Almost could have caught a kill there. He's gonna get peeked, and he's actually very quick. That looked like that was seconds away from Key dying to Slacks there. Now they've got that top mid, you know, pushed back, a little bit of a fight, and they are quick to try and switch this into a really fast B hit. Here we go.
I like this fast, direct approach through the smoke. He goes bunny hopping. Dennis gets the initial kill onto Snax. Now Minio has to back on up. He can't really contest for the bomb site. Someone's just pushed through the smoke, though. Key tried to go in while his teammate was backing on out. And Sprout should be good to go here. They're into a 4v2 with that bomb down on B.
Very, very good read. I think they had a number of things going for them there. I mean, they knew that someone had flashed Key into that top mid peak, so they knew that that meant 2 people at top mid, and they were like, you know what, that's fine. If you're going to be playing 2 forward, and you know you're going to try and smoke it off or whatever, we're going to use that time to fall back and go straight to B. So just some really quick math coming out from the Sprout side. Guessing that, you know, it wasn't going to be around where there was going to be a 3-man stack at B, because then probably at least the Arch player would have been somewhere else. So I really like that. That's really quick thinking, and it's going to give them the lead now. 7-6 in favor of Sprout. Really cool stuff here out of the German side.
Just a nice, decisive and direct round onto that B site, which, yeah, I agree. I like that call. After you've just made a bit of noise at A, they might not think you're going to go for a B play quite so quickly. because they probably don't think you've got that many players there that early on. They had everyone in the right sort of positions. And Anonymous, again, get to save a couple of guns, but they have to keep some money on those players. So Sprout have got a good chance of continuing that win streak. They've won 5 in a row, and they're only up against a half investment in this one.
This is the kind of round, if you're Anonymous, you'd love to try and pick this one up. Just, you know, the random early kill, catching someone slightly off guard, it all makes a difference because this losing streak that they've gone on to is really punishing them right now. It's a 5 in a row. Snax again with an AWP in this round, and the last 2 times that he's had it in a round like this, he's not really found any use for it. And not really for lack of trying either, but it just hasn't been possible. Let's see if they could do a slightly better job here. A little bit of a flashbang in. I like the attempt. It doesn't get them the kill that they needed, but eventually it does. Fair enough. I still think it's cool either way.
Yeah, they went the long way around. They took the scenic route to get that kill, but they get it. I like the way they did it, and now they come back to, hey, so many players in the apartments here. Anonymous setup is not too bad to deal with that apartments pop, though.
No, they have the MP9, going to be catching Faven, and oh, they can't get the pistol out in time. Maybe the knife would have been the real tool for the job there. Minio, though, not a bad shot to take down Dennis, and he knows there's someone down in the pit. He's trying to see if he can get that one more kill, but he can't. And Kyla will now show up for a 1 versus 2. So, Anonymous with a lot of output in this round, but they're not really home just yet. Bomb is going to be planted, and now the smoke fades. That's a nice shot out of Kyla, and Slax is in the corner. He goes down as well, and the clutch is won for Anonymous. A huge round that they absolutely had to have. Oh, is he? I thought he was doing a little victory lap. Fair enough.
Might as well be. Gets the upgraded pistol too. Yeah, nice shot to begin with from Kylo, though. That was the tight angle he had to find, and then figured out that that last player was going to be on the site. The man that planted the bomb had to be somewhere close by, so he swings out as Slax was trying to get up onto a different angle. Well played in that clutch, despite what looked like a slightly subpar hold initially from Anonymous. I think Snax had the AWP on the site and didn't even get a single kill off the back of that apartments pop. You've got to hit those shots if you're playing that angle. You've got to hit those close range quarters kills. Wasn't able to do so, but they're still able to win the round.
Yeah, right now it's Kyler and Innocent that are really showing up for Anonymous and carrying maybe a little bit more than they actually should. So Snax definitely not feeling too much at home on the CT side with the AWP. In fact, so much so to the point where I'm starting to wonder, why is he still getting the AWP so much? I don't have any doubt that Snax could do AWPing well, but I just think if it's not the right day for it, there are so many other tools to use on Inferno that could be just fine. So maybe he's being a little bit too stubborn on that front. Or maybe he's going to prove me wrong in this round. It is the 15th round, so last chance for Anonymous to get on to 8 rounds. I think either way, everyone is going to be coming out of this first half just fine.
Oh, this is going to get weird. Minio's playing on that gap in the smoke, but they're boosting on the other side. Just about gets away with a good bit of damage done, and even has an incendiary to slow down any potential push even further. Now, Snax hasn't been able to get all that involved in some of these rounds with the AWP, so that might be part of the reason why his score is so low. This time, though, he's just been flashed off the angle, and now he has to play that AWP from the site yet again.
Again, clearing out top mid is Sprout, and then setting up for what could be a B-split. In fact, as Speedy charges around the corner into a bit of a setup here. Minio, he's going to be going down, and that is all they needed. That kill is plenty enough to make this work. Let's see if they can do it in the last 16 seconds here. Innocent, a little bit of a crossfire. Nice turnaround for Innocent, but they still clear out the bomb site, and they are going to get the bomb plant.
Faven sticks around on Banana too. He can be the man to cut off this retake attempt before it even begins. They have nades to work with. One goes into the top Banana position, but Faven's still here, eventually getting the kill he was looking for. And it's pistol v pistol, but the USP works out for the first. Slax on the hold with the AWP, sitting on the other side, and he closes it out. It is Sprout who get the slight lead at the half, but it's still all to play for heading into that second half.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Second half is coming up here. Still the first match in this best of 3. We've got more maps coming up, obviously, afterwards. But it's straight down the middle, Hawker. It's 8-7 in favor of Sprout. Pretty good comeback, I think, for the German side. And ultimately, like, they look really solid in that first half.
Yeah, it took them a bit of a time to get their feet under them. But once they did, they definitely delivered. We got those dualies of Faven, close banana, which you see quite often. But not sure if they'll come into play here. Anonymous have put a few players towards top mid early. No commitment for them as of yet, though.
Big chance right now. We talked about Sprout not winning too many pistol rounds in general. So, you know, like they didn't in the first half either. But if they could do it here, that would pretty catapult them right in the right direction. Cressy is down here in the pit. Some targets in front, but they are getting really close. He still wins that fight and turns around for another headshot. A quick triple for him, even dropping the bomb in the pit. That is fantastic work. And it looked like it was about to be horrible. Once those Glocks get that close, it's usually GG, but he actually made that work.
Faven spotting that man in pit. Sprout still have a kit, but I'm not sure they'll need it. Nade onto the site, absolutely dunks that man out of the round. And then Faven with those dualies, precise as you would like him to be. Straight onto that pit player, tight angle, but he finds the headshot. And Sprout find it, that pistol round that they were searching for.
Yeah, it didn't come easy either. I mean, that really took a lot of work for Cressy to pull that off, but well played. That is really cool. You like to see it. And now, yeah, they're up 9-7. It could probably be even more than that before Anonymous really get into the game in a big way here. So, not quite the start that I was expecting. I mean, we were questioning the fact that Inferno was even being played here, which Sprout picked, even against maybe even the map odds for themselves. But looks like they've had a plan, and looking like that plan is actually working.
Now we heard Alan talking about how they were able to beat Anonymous on it in that previous matchup, 16-6. Maybe this is just a map where they specifically have Anonymous' number. They go for it this time, and they forced Anonymous down to the Glock trade in this round. So this round was effectively over before it begun. As soon as I say that, Snax decides to double dink with the Glock, which you don't see every day. Nice kill, but I'm not sure it's going to lead to anything.
No, not more than just a little bit of, you know, satisfaction for him on his own. That's always counts, you know. It's always nice to get a little bit of that. But yeah, 10-7. We got the AKs being picked up now, and Anonymous need to show us what they can do on this T side, which, you know, to be fair, it could be quite a bit, right? That T side could be so lethal if you're the right team at the right time. So I wouldn't discount them even if they are falling a little bit behind. And it looks to me like Sprout for the minute are the more prepared team on this map, but I think that can change quickly.
Certainly. They can take some map control early, can really force the CTs into some uncomfortable spots. I always feel like when you get a one-for-one trade on Inferno, that's when I just feel so uncomfortable as the CTs. If you have 4 people alive, I just feel like you have to leave somewhere really weak.
Yeah, there almost are no good choices, right? Because if you play 2A, 2B, that's the same as, you know, volunteering to do a 2-on-4 almost. You know, it doesn't really sound that good. Cressy is going to get traded, and that is just fine if you're on the T side. Slax is on his own with the FAMAS, and they're getting close. I mean, even the fact that he got that 1 kill is not that bad, actually. But they still have to make up their minds here. This is where you want to think, if we go for this 3-on-3 and lose the rifles, we're in a lot of trouble. Economically speaking, if we save them, you know, we could probably have a pretty good round in the next round, and that, you know, like, that's just a hard call to make in the middle of this. It looks like they're still thinking about it. I mean, they have some smokes and some Molotovs, so are they really going to do it here, Hawker? It feels like they're trying still.
Maybe if that second smoke didn't come down, I think they would have stuck around, but as soon as that comes... Oh my god, there's another one. Just get out of there!
Oh, it's so disheartening, isn't it? They're like, oh no. Just waiting around for more nades. And there was a Molotov even behind that from Snax, so fair play. Fair play. Yeah, they got the message at the end. Well done, Anonymous.
That's the advantage of getting a quick site take on Inferno. If you have those nades, those post plants are so good for you. They even smoked off short, so they just had everything locked down there, and Sprout had no real choice in the matter. They had to try and save. Maybe if there weren't any nades on Anonymo, those CT incendiaries could have come through, but not meant to be. Now we'll get to see what Slax can do with that ult on the CT side. Both snipers having fairly quiet games so far.
Yeah, and not even necessarily for lack of having the AWP. They've certainly, I mean, Snax has had it a lot. We just haven't really seen maybe what we would have expected. Could be the map. Inferno could be a strange map sometimes for having the AWP, but I'm still expecting just a little bit more. So, yeah, something to look forward to maybe. We'll see. 19th round here, and we do have a wide spread coming out for Anonymo, taking top banana, checking up in A apartments, just doing a wide reconnaissance of the map at the moment. Let's see what they do once they feel confident or comfortable that they actually have the part of the the map controlled here. Maybe especially top mid, once they see that, they could start to do a lot more.
Somewhat similar setup from Sprout to what we were seeing from Anonymo, where they are sitting really far back on this A site after being pressured initially. Slax is having to play with that AWP on the site itself, but it just means they don't have much information, much map control, and that's allowing Anonymo to start to set up this full B site execute.
Smoke's raining down everywhere. Molotovs on top there behind the new box. 30 seconds on the clock. They need to get some entry kills right now. There's going to be one traded right there. That's an important refrag coming in for Key. And now the full-on spray. Faven. Oh, he comes back for a second and takes down Innocent. And now the dual Ace out is buying all of the time that they need and almost getting the kill. But Snax, he was spinning all over the place. He did a 180 to try and get that kill. And now Kyler saving the round as well. Cressy comes in. He just needs one more bullet maybe, but not quite. 2 seconds left. The bomb, it is going to be planted in the final second. This round just does not stop in terms of the action. And now it's Kyler versus Cressy. The bomb is planted out there. Kyler has a pretty good chance, I think, of running around the corner and not take the fight. Cressy's going to tap it the one time, and I don't know what happened there, but Kyler's going to win the fight. It looked like Cressy was looking for something on the ground and just got confused. So that is going to be the round. What a mad round.
Yeah, I thought that it was going to be going the way of... That was just crazy. That was just crazy. I have to just take a second. I thought that the Sprout side had a really good chance initially because Anonymo missed that molly to triple box.
Yeah.
And when you miss a molly like that, it actually is just worse for you than not throwing the molly because they completely discount that position.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Okay, but that could really be a nightmare. But also the fact that the dualies in the background there, I mean, it looked like he had bought just endless amounts of time. I can't believe that Snax got that double kill to even make that round halfway possible. So strange times, I suppose. But Anonymo, yeah, they're gonna pick that one up. It's 10-9, and that's bad news for the economy on the Sprout side. They're not loving that at all.
That round was certainly a roller coaster. I think Sprout want to get off the ride right now, though. They are not in a good place with only a CZ and a P250 for this round. Quite heavy B-sided stack. The MAC-10 running in could definitely do work. Oh, the nade. Okay, that's not going to go high enough. It's not going to do too much damage. Could be worse.
Yeah, but as you pointed out as well, the MAC-10, I mean, even getting traded like that, it's all fine. It's just about not sacrificing the entire team to the stack, so they are just fine with it. Key doing his job well, and they're going to be able to get the bomb down and everything else, so that will tie the scoreline at 10-10. Faven, the last one, who's walking around on his own with a C-set 75. Just fine. But yeah, Anonymo proving a lot in the second half, starting to really make it work and making life really tricky for Sprout. The fact that we're tied up, probably you could even argue slightly favors Anonymo the way that the map is played out right now.
I think they'll be happy with the position they find themselves in. Even one player dying in this round is not the end of the world because they can just trade out that MAC-10, save the 4 AKs, save all 4 premium rifles for the next round, and build up even more money. Bavin was hoping he could find a player lurking, but I like the decision from Anonymo, just all to group up. don't give any option for Faven to steal a gun or sneakily get away with something. So Faven will just be saving the Kevlar. Sprout will be going ahead and pulling the trigger on another buy round, including an AWP dropped over to Slacks.
Interesting. The story of the AWPs that, I don't know, keep getting bought, but we don't know. We're really seeing the return on investment just yet. Maybe this could be the round. I think Slacks has been looking, in terms of his aim, has been looking good. So I can't think of a reason why not. But the other weapon that we were talking about earlier that could be, you know, like maybe a downgrade from the AWP, but still worth it, is the AUG that Spidi's been picked up now. I mean, I think that's, you know, you don't have to only buy the AWP if you're not finding the right kills. I think the AUG is a fine replacement at the moment if it's not one of those days.
Definitely a decent option to have. Makes sense for Spidi playing that long position, slightly longer range angle. You can back up to some longer range fights too. Early pressure on Banana. Sprout have responded with a third player rotated over to B. This is what we see a lot of nowadays on Inferno. Quite a dynamic CT setup, constantly shifting, constantly trying to be unpredictable. But as it stands, the A site is being left quite vulnerable.
Yeah, and Sprout are probably thinking, well, Anonymous haven't really done any really quick attacks towards the A-bomb site, so we probably have the window to do this for a while, and then, you know, as long as they don't get caught doing it, it is just having, you know, that early B defense where if there's a fight, you're probably going to win it. So it all kind of makes sense as long as you don't get caught out doing it. Then things get real bad. Slacks will find the kill on Minio. He was playing alone over here for a minute, but that is the AWP certainly paying off. A little bit of a flash around the corner, but I think that actually flashed Key as well. And now there's some backup here in Faven, but he is going to get flashed to the follow-up. That is a really nice flash pattern that they got going into the bomb site. Slacks is going to get hunted down, and things are looking at least good for the minute for a bomb plant here. Though Dennis will find Key right before the bomb goes down. And then there's a flank on Snacks. Oh, dear, Hawker, it's all over the place again.
This is vintage Snacks right here, though. In behind them, they have no clue he's coming. How many does he line up? 1, 2 on the spray, and that should secure it. Dennis is stuck in ruins. He may have to just try and desperately go for it, but he's still scared of Snacks behind, and Snacks has just decided to tuck into Library. He's just run away, giving Dennis no chance for kills. He's still paranoid about that player being behind him. Be able to get one at the end. Innocent falls. A second kill delivered, but the round is already over, and he's still not ready for Snacks, who gets all 3.
Absolutely delicious rat play coming out from Snacks. That just sneaking in at the end. That's so annoying. But I love it. 11-10, and that had all the right start there for Sprout to be picking up that round. They had the AWP on the Slacks. He gets the kill. He avoids dying to the flashbang. But the fact that there was a follow-up flashbang to take the... Who was the guy rotating in? Was that Faven? I can't remember. But yeah, like the second player coming in from CT spawn over there to help him out. That was brutal.
Absolutely. Really well played from Anonymo, though. They are coming through on the T side. And they are doing so with flying colors so far. Sprout have to go down to pistols yet again.
Yeah, they do. The economy is haunting them at the moment. And I mean, that could be their undoing at the end of it. If we go back and review this the second half, if it keeps going this way and they only have rifles half the time, that's going to be a problem. Oh, setting up for a pop flash. I appreciate the fact that Spidi went for that anyway. He was like, you know what? I have a job to do, and the fact that I'm standing in fire is not going to stop me. That's
hampered his ability to do his job, though, sadly. I think it would hamper your ability to do a lot of jobs, really, standing in fire.
It's true, but it would make a lot of jobs a lot cooler, you know. If you were, like, delivering the mail, but you had, like, a trail of fire, you know, like, wherever you walk, it certainly would be more impressive.
Oh, yeah. Although I would be worried about the mail just catching on fire.
Yeah, I mean, that is a secondary problem for sure. You have to balance these things out, don't you? You know, you have to pick, like, do you want cool mail delivery or actual mail delivery? You can only choose one. But yeah, I agree. It's definitely harder, but it did look cool.
I mean, that's just life, isn't it? Yeah, just got to balance out what you're valuing.
Exactly.
Are you valuing a cool mail delivery? maybe if you are, you can pay for the extra. I don't know how much it would cost to have a ring of fire behind you.
Probably be hard to employ people at some point. Like, there's going to be a point where you don't have any more applicants for that position, but until then, I don't see why not.
I wonder, do you think it's illegal to just walk around with like a fire behind you? Feels like it should be. That feels like a hazard.
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe you could get like a permit for it. You could like apply for it, city council.
That's a good
something.
idea.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know if anyone's ever tried. Maybe there is no law around it, and you know it's always easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. So, if anyone's out there, just maybe go for it. We have got a lot of scopes, Hawker, coming into this round. What is happening on that CT side?
Yeah, you don't need a permit to buy the AWP in CSGO, that's for sure. That's what they're doing with 2 of them in play alongside those Orcs. Maybe this is the switch up that Sprout have been waiting for.
Yeah, I was about to ask, is this like a well-calculated, well-formulated chess move, or is it like a bit of desperation? Yeah, there was a bit of a failed nade over there on the corner of library.
Slax has got past that key side molly at least, and it's only one man peeking him. He'll take that all day long.
Weird fight coming out there. I don't really know what's happening. That looked really uninspired. I guess they thought that Molotov was doing a lot more at the corner. I don't know. They are really close to the A bomb site, and they're going to go straight for it. No slowing down. They walk into it, and it Slax again with essentially a blind shot of the AWP, and they're just going to get slaughtered here. So Sprout finally winning a round after struggling a fair bit, losing 5 in a row. They're now back at it once again. So I'm not even sure that was necessarily the weapons that they picked up that did it. I think Anonymo thought they had picked the right round to go for like that, you know, early aggressive, like fast play. And changing up the pace like that can actually be really effective, but this Sprout just wasn't getting caught by that at all.
Yeah, I guess not really the round for it when you're up against the AWPs. Obviously, there's no way you can know there's the 2 snipers, but they're pretty well set to stop any sort of early play when you have the ability to just hold with the AWP and really try and lock it down. Banana control being contested for. It's Dennis who's going to come away with the early kill. Key committed to the spray, but look at the response from Anonymo. Fast presence into A.
Nice shot out of Slax. He's almost getting caught at the corner, but he wants to go back for more. There's a friendly flash and sets it up nicely for a kill on Kyler. You could see how they were communicating. That's some nice teamwork between the 2 of them. Not going straight for it, not just, you know, dumbly peeking into it, but just waiting for that team flash to come in. And now it's a 2-on-5. And yeah, if you're Anonymo from winning 5 in a row to now running into this kind of a wall, and just when you're about to make it, like they're at 12 rounds, they're not that far away from the finish line, but now it feels like the momentum has gone away.
Good bit of communication, but probably not even communication for Sprout there. That's the kind of situation where your site player just has to take charge and say, I'm flashing behind you, because you don't have time to ask for the flash, and then the guy pulls out the flash. That's going to take way too long. So nice from Sprout to get that flash over in time. It leaves Anonymo basically just going for a Hail Mary play here into the B site. Only 2 CTs up against them, so maybe a chance to get something going. Snack's currently the man leading the charge, but they've made this fairly obvious, and the rotate is arriving pretty quickly. Might not even be needed, though. Minio's out of ammo, reloading on the site, and they're all going to come in to hunt him down.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, he tried his best there, but that was not going to work. So tied up, 12-12 now. It is Cressy and Faven that are sort of top of the scoreboard, but I feel like everyone is pitching right now on the Sprout side. They're doing just fine. And I guess the same is kind of true for Anonymo. We've got Kyler and Innocent top of the board, but then everyone else is at 13. So I feel like we've got overall a pretty good showing for everyone in the server right now. Maybe that explains the tied scoreline, but in terms of the economy, it's Sprout that is winning right now.
Certainly looks promising for them. Only 1 smoke available for Anonymo in this round, so I hope that Snax knows his CT lineup. Otherwise, they're going to have a really hard time breaching this B bomb site. And indeed, in comes that CT smoke. A couple of flashes at the ready, but Dennis gets a kill while blind. And Faven is still looking strong with that ult at the back of the bomb site. Nice hold, just so solid there. Absolutely no chance for Anonymous.
And not even doing the damage, not even getting the economy into play once again. That would be such a big difference right now. If they could at least get the 2 or 3 kills here, that would have really helped them out. But they are struggling, and they're not getting the bomb plant either, right? These last 3 rounds, it's been all kills, not a single bomb plant. So they're missing out on money that they actually really need. And if it feels like they're gonna miss the mark by just a tiny bit here at the end. It's not, again, really close. But I'm not sure if they are able to pull it through, just on the basis of the money that they have.
Well, Kyler commits. Snacks down to a Mac 10 for this one. Does that mean we see a faster play, or is he just taking the weaker weapon to get the full nades and maybe to pick up an AK later? Maybe he even just runs in first on a slower round. Who knows? We're about to find out as we get underway into round 26. We're hitting crunch time here, and Slack's still looking for that ult fight down mid. No one there to meet him. He goes for the aggression into second mid, gets away with his life, but not the kill. Snacks down to 27 health.
All right. I mean, I still think like that looks like a display of confidence, doesn't it? That's not the sort of play you make if you feel like, you know, things are really working out against you. So I appreciate that from Slacks. I mean, this is exactly the kind of round where you would want that to work, because you know Anonymous have just had some sort of conversation saying, this is it, guys. If we're going to have a chance to get back, then now, this upcoming round is where we have to make a really big impact. If you can start that round sniping away a kill like that. Oh, and look at pushing through. Dennis with a long range. A little bit of a spray, almost getting the double right there. And Slacks just a pixel away from getting that kill. They have to push. They're boxed in. They don't have a choice anymore. Anonymous trying to get onto the A site, but Cressy get nearly a double spray down, and they are getting slaughtered on the approach to this bomb site. 45 seconds and a 2-on-4. Make that a 1-on-4 instead, as Kyler is now the only one left. And Sprout just taking all of the initiative away from Anonymous, making sure that they are not in charge of this round.
Good attempt with the flash, but there were way too many players on the other side. And you were talking about confidence. How about Dennis walking through the banana smoke? Big risk so there. Cool. Huge risk to take, but if you go for a flash through the smoke, you're obviously giving it away. So he decides it's a risk worth taking to get a completely free kill from behind, and you see the panic just setting in for Anonymous. They feel like they have to go for a play. They feel like they're pressured and forced into pushing that A site, and Sprout can just be ready for it because they know that they forced Anonymous into A.
Exciting times for the Sprout fans that are out there, because it was looking really grim at one point here. But then they picked up double orb and 2 orcs, and I still don't even know if it's the weapons that made a difference, but certainly it must have had something to do with it. Dennis is at it again, trying to push down. There's no smoke, but he's just going to go check all the way through. Just as oh no, this is the flashbang they need. They need these flashes to get out of the apps, and he's waiting for it. There's one kill. The follow-up is there, and whoever was up in apps to try and do something there, never going to get anything done now. So 5 versus 3, and just stealing the round away is Dennis.
Oh, Snack's going to get baited in here. I think he might. Haven't just waiting with the AWP. Not something that Snacks was ready for, and it's another shutdown for Sprout. Back-to-back rounds where Dennis makes the play. A couple of the Sprout players now up there at 21 kills, all leading the charge towards the top of the scoreboard. And it's looking solid for Sprout. What a turnaround here. It's now Sprout who've won 5 in a row.
Crushing it. Not a single bomb plant in those 5 rounds. Just really incredible job. And Dennis, I mean, 3 of them are at 21 kills right now. The top frags are tied between the 3 of them. They're doing an amazing job. And those backstabs coming in from Dennis are so demoralizing, because, again, it takes away a round that you don't even get to test. You can't even mark it off as a round that didn't work. You just have to say, well, we didn't even get a chance to try it, so what now? AKs are out, but Faven with the opening kill taking down Key, and he's ready for Minio as well. Even flashed it, doesn't matter. Dennis, he's going to get traded, but he did almost take down Kyla, so it's looking grim for Anonymous here in the 28th round.
Tough times for them, and that secondary AWP does really come through this time and prove its worth with those 2 early kills. They had that smoke down to deny a Molly from stopping that peek from happening. They wanted Faven to be able to peek on the right side of the smoke, and it certainly paid off for them. They've got the man advantage. Smoke into CT, forces some utility out from the AWPer. Anonymous still have plenty more nades where that came from. They are going to use them into this B site.
Here we go. This is as good as it's going to get right now, and a kill for the smoke is impressive. Snax with a double entry, and that somehow worked out way better than anyone was expecting. And I don't know, he was holding the AUG without scoping. I guess you can do that if you want to, but it just seemed like a pretty good position to use the scope. Regardless, I can't believe that Anonymous actually won that round. That didn't look like it was anywhere near possible, and they just made it work. So, well done.
Nice fast push. Ooh. Slax has got to make sure he gets out with his life. I guess they don't actually care that much, actually. They just have so much money. I didn't even realize they have this much cash. So if anything, Sprout should just stick around here and just try and do damage, which they will attempt to do. Not too successful there, though. Slax goes down. Anonymous now have the choice as to whether or not they want to save that AK, but they'd rather... Or save the AWP, rather. They choose to stick with the AKs instead.
15-13. I don't know if I can handle this going into overtime. At different times in this game so far, it seemed so obvious who was going to win. You had the Anonymous streak, especially in the second half here, where they won 5 in a row, and you're like, that's it. Like, they're down the T side, they've got it rolling, and Sprout really looked lost. And then it swung back, and if it goes into overtime, that's where people start to make mistakes and things get a little bit weird. So we'll find out. Key all the way into top, and there was a Molotov there. If he didn't get shot in the face there at point blank range, he would have hunted at the very least 1, maybe 2 of them down. But he got stopped right at the limit.
Anonymous threw that smoke to the half wall to extinguish the Molly, so he could run in like that. He could get the chance to hunt them down, but it doesn't happen. Sprout do a good job at holding. They do a good job at landing that shot. And now Anonymous have to fight back from a man down.
Slax forward position, even though normally if you're a man up like this, you can maybe afford to be a little bit more careful. He's nearly flashed to death, but he's going to be all right. A little bit of a confused grenade there, but that's fine. He is eventually going to go down, but that was Snax actually finding the kill. He just kept on pressing the issue. And it's back into a 4-on-4, and they're going to start to fall back. And look at the rotation that it's caused here on the Sprout side. It's only Dennis alone on the B-bomb side right now.
And this is what we were talking about. Those 4v4s on Inferno can be really tough to make the right move, but the smoke that's been deployed by Dennis will buy time for a hefty rotation back to B. 3 CTs reinforcing the site at just the right time.
And there was another smoke that just went down. They actually have to come through the smoke. Otherwise, they're going to lose the round no matter what. So they try and run boost their way through. Anonymous just going all out in this round. It's an early kill there for Snax, but Speedy shows up with the AUG. A fantastic triple all over the place, and all of them headshots. And it's 16-13. A Sprout will win the first map after a bit of a struggle. What a crazy game to start with. This was so close. It could have gone either way.
Wow, yeah, just that spray at the end. Superb from Spiddy. Without the scope, gets all those headshots through the CT smoke too. You have to come in. It's hard to do, but he readjusts really well.
Yeah, what a fantastic way to get started on the second match. And there'll be a lot more coming. We'll break it down, and we'll have a second map as well after the break, so stay tuned.